Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this video, I'm going to talk about Fourier series, how to find Fourier series for f of x if f of x is odd. In general, f of x equal a naught over 2 plus a n cosine, sigma n cosine plus b n sine. So this video, I'm going to talk about if f of x it is odd. And the second part, the second video will be part 2, if f of x is even, and the part 3 will be if f of x is not odd and not even. Now, if f of x it is odd, first, a naught, how to find a naught? In general, a naught is 1 over L from negative L to L f of x dx. And an, to find an, is 1 over L from negative L to L f of x cosine n pi over L x dx. And bn is 1 over L from negative L to L f of x times sine n pi over L x dx. So L is any number. So if f is continuous on interval from negative to L, like negative 2 to 2, so it'll be L2, negative 4 to 4, negative 5 to 5. Okay. Now, if f of x, it is odd. What do you mean by odd function? See, and even function. Odd function, first, f is called odd if f of minus x equal to minus f of x. Then the integral will be equal to 0. So the integral of f of x, see, if f of x, it is odd, and the integral, to find the integral from negative L to L, if f is odd, will be equal to 0. Like example x. X, it is odd, clear, because f of x, this is x, and f minus x is minus x, so it is equal to minus f of x, because x f of x. So it is odd. So then f of minus x equal to minus f of x. Now, x dx equal to 0. So this one is clear, but the integral is half x squared over 2. And the integral is from negative L to L. So that is mean equal half. First place L will be L squared minus the place negative L squared, also L squared. So then equal to what? Equal to 0. Now, f is called even function if f minus x equal to f of x, like x squared, See, here, f of minus x equal to x squared, what would be this one? Minus x squared, so which is equal to what? X squared, that is mean equal to what? To f of x. Because f of x equal to what? To x squared. We have here f of x equal to x squared. If I replace minus x, will be minus x squared. Will be x squared, that is means f of x again. Will be what? F of x again. So it is even. So f minus x equal to f of x. If it is even function, so the integral will be, see, the integral will be the integral. The integral from negative L to L f of x equal 2 times from 0 to L. Yeah, if from negative to 2, if it is even and continuous from negative 2 to 2, what will be equal 2 times 0 to L f of x. 0 to 2. If negative 4 to 4 will be 2 times 0 to 4. If negative 5 to 5 of x and f is even, so it will be 2 times 0 to 5, and so on. So in this example, if I said x squared, so it will be 2 from 0 to L, because x squared is even. See, this one equal to what? This one is 1 over 3, x cubed over 3, and x is from negative L to L. Replace L, so it'll be 1/3 L cubed minus 1/3, replace negative L, so it'll be negative L cubed. So this will be negative L cubed, negative is positive, so equal to what? Will be 1/3 L cubed plus 1/3 L cubed, that is mean 2/3 L cubed. So this is the right side, the left side, left equal, will be 2 over 3 L cubed. What about the right side, right equal? So this one, you said negative L to L, because x is even, x squared is even, so it'll be 2 times 0. See, the integral of this part. The integral of this part is, here is 2 times integral from 0 to L, x squared dx, which is equal to integral of this one, x squared is x cubed over 3, x cubed over 3 from 0 to L, from 0 to L. So replace, so 2 over 3 out, constant, L cube, minus replace 0, so it'll be 0. So the answer will be 2 over 3 L cube, which is the same of 2 over 3 L cube. So they are equal. Now, if the question is, if f of x, even, okay, and multiplied by another function, it is odd. Another function, it is odd. What will be? Will be odd. Okay, will be odd. So see, if f of x is even, we have here f minus x, which is equal to what? To f of x. And g of x, it is odd. So g of minus x equal to times minus g of x, because it's odd. So this will be equal what? Equal minus f of x times g of x. So now if f is even and g odd, will be minus f times t. That is mean it is what? It is odd. It is odd. Okay, if it is, would be odd. But if f of x is odd and g of x also odd, what will be? So it'll be even. Why? Because this one will be f of minus x, and this one equal to what? To minus f of x, because odd, or g of minus x equal times what? Times minus g of x, because odd, and negative is positive, will be f of x times g of x. Yani equal to what now? Equal to what? F and g again. So that will be that even. So if f odd and g odd will be even. Now, how to find Fourier series? First, if f it is odd. If f is odd. Okay, in this example, let us start. If f is odd, let us say in example number 1, f of x equal to x. Clear? X is odd. Oh, I want to find Fourier on interval from negative L to L. Clear this one? It is odd. It is odd. So now what about A naught? A naught is 0. What is the AN? The AN is also equal to 0. AN is equal to 0. AN also equal to 0. Now, AN also 0. See, A naught. What is the A naught? Return back is 1 over L the rule from negative L to L, f of x. So now f of x is x. Let me rewrite it again. That again. Now to find A naught, which is 0. A naught is 1 over L integral from negative L to L f of x dx equal to 1 over L from negative L to L f of x is x dx equal to, now this one is equal to 1 over L, x is x squared over 2, that is means half x squared, and x is from negative L to L. So equal to, this will be here 1 over 2L, and replace L, so this will be L squared, minus replace negative L, will be L squared, because negative, and the squared will be positive, minus L squared, so equal to what? Equal to 0. So A naught is C. Second, what about AN? AN also 0. See, AN equal to 1 over L integral from negative L to L f of x cosine n pi over L x dx. Again, look at AN. AN, this is the AN. See, this one AN. And we have to find AN because we have here we have AN cosine. So AN, this is the AN. Replace f of x is x. See how to find the integral now. The integral of equal to 1 over L integral from negative L to L. F of x is x times cosine n pi over L x dx equal to this one. To find the integral, we have to use UDV, UDV integral by parts. So the U is equal to x and dV equal to cosine n pi over Rx dx. The derivative, the du equal 1 dx, and the integral equal to multiply by n pi over or divide. So out of the integral we have L over n pi. Integral of cosine, it is sine n pi over x. Now, integral is equal to 1 over L UDV. Integral UDV. So UV first, U times V. So that is mean L over n pi is the constant, x multiplied by sine n pi over Lx. And C, this one is from negative L to L. Then minus V du. V du, integral by parts. So the integral of V du, this one, if we multiply V by du, so this is the constant will be out, L over n pi, integral, the multiplication V du, so we have only the integral of sine n pi over Lx dx from negative L to L, and all multiplied by 1 over L. See, now, equal to, multiply by this one, so we have L with L is out, so we have 1 over m pi, replace L first, so will be here L sine n pi over L times, replace L, okay, replace L here, so L with L will be cancelled, sine n pi is equal to 0 for any n, this is 0, minus, replace negative L, so replace negative L, so we have again this one will be negative L, see, we have L over n pi, L over n pi with times L will be 1 over n pi, replace x negative L, so this one is negative L, multiply by sine n pi over L, x is negative L. Because sine is odd, negative out, and L with L cancel, and negative out, sine n pi, sine negative n pi, equal to 0 for any n. Okay, okay, will be this one, 0. See, don't forget, n is from 1 to infinity, really, here you see the integral here, and what is the n? N is from 1 to infinity, n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I said for any n mean from 1 to infinity, so be if one even or odd, positive integer, so will be 0. Sine 1 pi, 0, sine 2 pi, 0, sine 3 pi, 0, and so on. So this one equal what now? Equal to 0. Then we have here minus the integral of sine. So we minus the integral of sine is minus cosine, so be plus, and to multiply by L over n pi out, so be L squared over n squared pi squared, because we have to multiply by n pi over L here, n pi over L, and here to divide by what? L over n pi. So L by L, L squared, or n by n squared, pi by pi squared. So integral of sine is minus cosine. So there we have here cosine n pi over Lx. The integral is from this one, from negative L to L. See, cosine, it is even function. If I replace x here, so this would be cosine, L with L will be cancelled, and pi. And if I replace then minus negative L, so it'll be cosine n pi over L and negative L. This one will be -1. So then I have cosine n pi minus cosine minus n pi. Cosine minus because even is the same cosine n pi. So this will be here cosine n pi minus cosine n pi because cosine is even, which is equal to what? Equal to, yani then 0 and the plus 0. The answer will be equal to 0. So now an equal to what? An equal to 0. Why equal to 0? Because x here it is odd, or cosine it is even, the multiplication is odd, and we explain the multiplication here if it's odd will be 0. Will be 0. Explain here if odd. So here what will be the integral? The integral is 0. We explain the integral is 0. See here. If it is odd, so f of x will be 0. Okay. Now, what about b of bn? Bn now, turn back to here. Now, we have to find bn. So a not 0, an 0, because f of x is odd. Bn, what about the bn? The bn is from negative L to L, 1 over L. Now, f of x, x is odd. X is odd, x. Sine is odd. Odd times odd, we explain even. So in this integral will be, see now the integral bn, that I write it here. So the integral now bn equal to 1 over L, integral from negative L to L, f of x sine n pi over x dx equal to, now 1 over L, integral from negative L to L, f of x is x sine n pi over L, this one over L, okay. This one over L, x sine n pi over L, x. So n pi over L, x dx. So x is odd, sine odd, so it'll be even. So that is mean this one equal to 2 over L from 0 to L, x sine n pi over L, x dx, as we explained before. Now this one will be, again, x is odd, sine odd, the multiplication is even. So from negative to L, what will be from 0 to L, multiply by 2. Then by u dv, u is here, u is x, and dv is equal to sine n pi over L, x dx. Okay, so equal to du, the derivative here will be 1 dx, and the integral here v equal integral of sine minus cosine, but you have to multiply by n pi over L, we divide. So the integral will be L over n pi, integral of sine minus cosine n pi over L x. Now, this one will be 2 over L, and this one is multiplied by, see, multiplied by, what multiplied by? uv, u times v, so it will be negative L over n pi, x multiplied by cosine, x cosine n pi over L x. This is L. And see, this one is from 0 to L. From 0 to L. Then minus, what minus? V du, integral V du, multiplication, this V du, the integral V du. But this one, negative L over n pi, constant will be out. So this will be plus, because you have here negative. So this will be L over n pi from 0 to L, integral of what? Cosine n pi over L x dx. Now, the first one, replace L here. So this will be here negative and multiply by 2 over L. If we multiply 2 over L, this one equal to 2 over L times, and here this is minus. So you have here L, okay. This one negative, multiply, it will be negative, and this one is L. This is L here, and times L over m pi. Clear, we have this L would be 1. Okay, so this will be 1 here. That is mean this can be written as, see, can be written as, now this can be written as 2 negative 2 over n pi, and we have here replace x is L, so then will be here, this one is L cosine n pi, replace x by L, so will be L, here L will cancel, will be only cosine n pi, minus, replace 0, so this will be 0, because 0 x 0, so this will be 0. So that is mean this is one equal to, here we have negative 2 L over n pi cosine n pi. This based on n. If n is odd, yani 1 would be cosine pi, cosine 3 pi. What will be this one? Negative 1. And if n is even, will be like here 2 cosine 2 pi cosine will be in this case 1. So this will be here negative 1 to power n. If n is odd, it will be negative 1. If n is even, will be 1. Then plus the integral of this one plus. The integral of cosine is sine. I have to multiply by L here, really outside L over n pi, or inside here we have to multiply by n pi over L. And outside L over, yani this will be here L over n pi. We have here n pi. The integral of cosine you need to multiply by times L over n pi. This will be outside. And inside, this one is n pi over L, the derivative of the angle here you have cosine n pi over L x. Okay, this one the integral here. Integral, okay, from 0 to L dx. Now the derivative of cosine, there is the derivative, so this will be here sine, this one will be here sine, okay, sine n pi over L x, and outside L by L is L squared, and n pi by n pi we have n pi squared, n squared pi squared. The integral is from 0 to L. If we replace L, this will be sine n pi over L. If we replace x by L, L will add 1, sine n pi 0, sine 1 0, sine 2 pi 0, sine 3 pi 0. This will be 0. So that's mean this one be here 0. Minus if I replace 0, sine 0 0. So this one will be all 0. So it will be 0. So it will be minus 0. Yani this is the answer. Now what about the answer? Negative 1 multiplied by this one, so equal to. So Bn is equal to, Bn is equal to, we have here 2 L over n pi, negative 1 by negative 1 to power n, negative 1 to power n plus 1. This is the Bn. This is the Bn. So the Fourier series for f of x equals it here a naught over 2 plus sigma an cosine n pi over Lx plus Bn sine n pi over Lx, and the x, so the n is from 1 to infinity. Now, f of x is equal to x, equal to a naught, this one 0, and an equal to 0. So that means is equal to sigma. We have n from 1 to infinity. Bn is 2 over L n pi negative 1 to the power n plus 1 sine n sine sine n pi over x. So this is the Fourier series. This is the Fourier series for x. X equal sigma from 1 to infinity bn, which is 2 over l n pi negative 1 to the power n plus 1 sine n pi over l.